My ex-husband tried to get into my house using his future stepkid as an excuse. Now he's telling everyone I'm a monster. My ex-husband Ronan and I have been divorced for 2 years, and every single interaction since has been a chess match where he's always trying to get one move ahead. I changed the locks the week the divorce was finalized, because the last time he had access to my home, he went through my filing cabinet, my laptop, and my nightstand, while pretending to pick up the rest of his clothes. He even opened sealed mail addressed to me. When I confronted him, he said he was just making sure I wasn't hiding assets. We weren't even in a legal dispute anymore. The paperwork was signed and done. He just couldn't stand not knowing everything about my life, even after I stopped being legally required to share it. So when he showed up at my door last Sunday with his fiancée and her 2 kids, I already knew something was off. He never visits. He has zero reason to be at my house. Our kids were with him that weekend, not with me. Yet there he was, smiling that smile I've learned to fear more than his anger. Hey, Lila's son really needs to use the bathroom. We were driving past and this was the closest stop. You mind? Lila stood behind him holding her daughter's hand, looking uncomfortable. The little boy, maybe 5 or 6, was shifting from foot to foot with his legs crossed. I looked at Ronan. He was already leaning toward my doorframe like he was halfway inside. There's a gas station 2 minutes down the road, I said calmly. Come on, he's a little kid. Just let him use the bathroom real quick. Ronan, the gas station is literally right there. Take him. His smile tightened. Why are you being so difficult about this? He's 6 years old. He just needs a toilet. Lila finally spoke up quietly. It's really fine, Ronan. We can just go to the gas station. But Ronan wasn't listening to her. He was staring at me with that look that says, I'm going to make you pay for this later. This is genuinely insane. You won't let a child use your bathroom? What kind of person does that? The kind who knows you went through every personal document I own the last time you were inside my house. His jaw tightened. That was 2 years ago. And you're still not coming inside. He took a step closer and lowered his voice so Lila couldn't hear. I just need 5 minutes. I left something important here. There it was. The real reason. The kid was just a prop to get through the door. There is nothing of yours in my house, Ronan. Everything was packed and shipped over a year ago. Not everything. He was practically whispering now. There's a folder in the basement with documents I need. Financial stuff from before the divorce. Then request it through your lawyer like a normal person. He pulled back and switched to his loud performance voice instantly. Wow, you really won't help a child who desperately needs a bathroom. That's genuinely disgusting. He turned to Lila. You see what I dealt with for 8 years? This is exactly who she is. They left. The little boy used the gas station bathroom 2 minutes later. I know because Lila texted me that night apologizing for showing up unannounced. She said the boy was completely fine and that she was sorry about the whole situation. She seemed genuine and kind. Then the calls started. My mother phoned Monday morning sounding furious. Ronan called me. He said you refused to let a small child use your toilet and slammed the door in his face. Is that true? I didn't slam anything. I told him to use the gas station. He said the little boy was crying and begging. He wasn't crying or begging. Lila texted me after saying he was fine, but mom had already made up her mind. I raised you better than that. My sister called an hour later with the same version of the story. Then a coworker mentioned that Ronan had posted on Facebook about how his heartless ex-wife refused to help a desperate child. He didn't use my name, but everyone knew who he meant. He described a scared little boy begging for a bathroom while his cruel ex stood in the doorway blocking them with her arms crossed. 67 comments, all saying I was heartless and cruel. 3 people from my own church tagged me asking what was wrong with me. I responded to none of them. Instead, I screenshot Lila's text confirming everything was fine and the boy was never upset. I sent it to my mother, my sister, and posted it publicly in response to his Facebook post. Then I texted Ronan directly. The folder you wanted from my basement doesn't exist. I know because I had my lawyer inventory every item when you started showing up unannounced. There is nothing left of yours in my house. Stop using children as props to get through my front door. He never responded, but his Facebook post disappeared within the hour.
My wife suggested an open marriage, BC. She was bored. I reluctantly agreed. Within a week, I had 3 dates and she had 0. She cried and asked to close the marriage. I said, I'm just getting started. My wife Tessa dropped the bomb while we were folding laundry on a Sunday night. She didn't even look up from the towels. I think we should see other people. I stopped mid-fold. Excuse me? Not break up. Just open things up. I'm bored. We've been together 9 years and I love you, but the spark is gone. She said it like she was suggesting a new restaurant. I stood there holding a pillowcase feeling like someone punched me in the sternum. You're bored, I repeated. With us. Don't make it dramatic. Lots of couples do this. It keeps things fresh. She'd clearly rehearsed this because she had answers for everything. When I asked if she'd already met someone, she said no. When I asked if this was her way of leaving me, she said absolutely not. When I asked what happens if one of us catches feelings, she pulled out her phone and showed me a list of rules she'd typed up. Rules. Like this was a board game. I told her no. She cried for 3 days straight, slept on the couch, stopped cooking dinner, started making comments about feeling trapped and suffocated. On day 4, she told me her therapist agreed it was reasonable. I later found out she never even mentioned it to her therapist. By Friday, I was exhausted. 9 years of marriage, and I'd never seen her this determined. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, if I truly loved her, I'd trust her enough to try. So I said fine. 1 month. Strict rules. Full transparency. She lit up like Christmas morning. That night, she downloaded 3 dating apps before I'd even processed what I agreed to. She spent hours picking the perfect photos and writing a bio about being in an open marriage seeking meaningful connections. I watched her swipe through men like she was browsing Netflix. So confident. So sure she'd have dozens of options within hours. I didn't download anything. I just sat on the back porch staring at the yard thinking about how my marriage became something I didn't recognize. Next morning at the gym, my buddy Rowan asked why I looked like death. I told him everything. He stared at me for 10 seconds then said, brother, you have no idea what's about to happen. I asked what he meant. You're a firefighter. You cook. You're in shape. You're emotionally available. Women are going to lose their minds. I laughed because that sounded ridiculous. I'd been with Tessa since 23. I had no idea what dating even looked like anymore. Rowan convinced me to make a profile. Nothing fancy. 2 photos, one of me cooking and one from a department fundraiser where I happened to be in uniform. Bio just said open marriage and looking for genuine conversation. Within 6 hours, I had over 200 likes. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Women were sending paragraphs about how refreshing my profile was. One woman said she'd never seen a man list cooking as a hobby without it being a joke. Another said my smile made her day better. By Wednesday, I had 3 dates scheduled. A veterinarian named Sutton who loved hiking. A designer named Paloma who quoted my favorite author in her first first message, and a pastry chef named Blythe who sent me a photo of cinnamon rolls she'd made that morning. Meanwhile, Tessa's phone was silent. Not a single match, not one message, not even a like. She kept refreshing her apps every 10 minutes pretending she wasn't bothered, changed her photos twice, rewrote her bio 3 times, nothing. Thursday night, I was getting ready for my first date with Sutton when Tessa walked into the bedroom. Her eyes were red. "Where are you going?" "Dinner with Sutton. I told you yesterday. Can you cancel?" "Why?" "Because this doesn't feel right anymore. I think we should close the marriage." I stopped buttoning my shirt and looked at her reflection in the mirror. This woman who told me she was bored, who cried for 3 days to pressure me into this, who had rules typed on her phone before I even agreed. "It's been 6 days, Tessa. I know, but I made a mistake. I didn't think it would be like this." "Like what?" "Like you having options and me having nothing." She was fully crying now. "I thought this would fix us. I thought I'd feel wanted again, and instead, I feel invisible." I turned around. "You thought you'd have all the fun while I sat home waiting. That's what this was really about." She didn't deny it. "I want to close it. Please, let's go back to normal." I picked up my keys and wallet. "I'm just getting started." Her face crumbled. I walked out and drove to the restaurant where Sutton was already waiting with that warm smile. My phone buzzed the entire dinner. Tessa calling, texting, begging. I turned my phone off and ordered dessert.